Hi, everybody. Listen to this terrific Why Fletcher. Good day, everybody. I'm Jim Stavridis, the Dean at the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy, and I have a chance today to welcome one of our absolutely most distinguished alumni back to the Fletcher School. General Joe Dunford won his Master of Arts here, the one-year MA program, back in 1992, and has just been selected and confirmed by the Senate to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He's currently, of course, the Commandant of the Marine Corps. We are so proud of you. Joe, take a minute and just tell me about what was the process that got you to Fletcher, and how did you like it here?
Sure. No, I was in the Marine Corps about 14 years. At that point, we go through a process for school selection, and you can go to Marine Corps schools, Navy schools, Army schools. In the Marine Corps every year, and I think at that point I'd been doing it for about 3 years, had a fellowship, Commandant's Fellowship it was called, here at Fletcher. And so when the school's list came out that year, I just had the good fortune to be, one, to be on the list, and number two, to have been assigned to attend the Fletcher School. And certainly, as someone who grew up in the area, I knew immediately what a phenomenal opportunity that would be to study here.
Thanks. What did you focus your studies on that year?
Interesting, you know, without having any appreciation for what I might be doing later in life, you know, largely Southwest Asia, and then security studies with Dick Schultz. So I had Professor Hess for 2 courses, I had Dick Schultz for 2 courses, and then I studied the law of the sea under Keith Hyatt, who was here at the time, who I think at the time was a lawyer who had argued more cases before the International Criminal Court of Justice than any other American attorney. So really had a great experience while I was here.
That's fabulous, and I've got to embarrass you slightly and just tell the folks who are watching the video that General Dunford won the Stewart Prize as the top student in his class that year. So doubly proud of you in that sense, Joe. Well, you've got a huge set of responsibilities coming up to be the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of the United States of America, the most senior military job, I would argue, in the world, certainly in the United States. You've been confirmed by the Senate. What's on your mind? What are you thinking about in terms of challenges ahead?
Well, there's certainly no shortage of challenges that we're grappling with right now. I would probably say the overall challenge is how do we make sure we take care of the challenges we're dealing with today, particularly in a fiscally constrained environment, and still make the investment in innovation to remain competitive tomorrow. I mean, I think it's fair to say today that we have a competitive edge over any potential adversary. The gap is closing, has been closing for some time, and as busy as we are on a day-to-day, trying to make sure that we pay proper attention to the future and maintain an investment in the future is probably one of the difficult things we'll have to do.
I agree with that, and you know, as I look out there geographically, I'm a little concerned about Russia, a little concerned about North Korea, I'm a little concerned about tension in the South China Sea. As you say, there's no shortage of challenges, but you know, people ask me what kept me awake as the NATO commander when you and I worked together during your command tour in Afghanistan and my tour as a NATO commander. And you know, I worried about Afghanistan, I worried about the Balkans, I worried about Libya, I worried about piracy, as you say, a lot of challenges. I worried a lot about cyber in those days, and I still do. Is that something that is of concern, and do you think that'll be on your horizon as you go into this?
No, I think absolutely. I mean, if you look at what happened with the Sony Pictures incident and then the recent lifting of data from the Office of Management Budget, particularly sensitive information about our young men and women in uniform and others that work for the government, it's a huge concern. One of the things I think we need to work our way through is to come up with a framework of deterrence.
I agree.
You know, one of the challenges is we don't have attribution from many of the cyber attacks that take place, and so making sure we have a more sophisticated approach to that. But fundamentally, both from a deterrence, a defense perspective, and an offensive capability, we have a lot of work to do. So I expect that'll be close to the top of my inbox.
General Joe Dunford, it's a pleasure having you here. Welcome back to the Fletcher School.
Thanks, Dean.
Thanks a lot.